Hi, Karen Prall.
Hi, Grace Schiffman.
How are you today?
I'm good. How are you?
Good, good. So, I'm very excited about today's topic because it really kind of fits in what we're going to be doing at Family Reunion. So, I hope everybody can join us for that too. So, this is just a little preview of kind of, we've done return on investment. But I think this topic is very, very important, Karen. Today's conversation is called Return to Influence, and we're going to be talking about leaders and how they're kind of, especially today with today's noise, how we're kind of feeling a little bit disconnected to really what our power is, right?
Well, it's what does that mean? What does return to influence mean? Like to me, it's like think about the people who have influenced you or the products, tools, or systems that have influenced you. For me, it's always maintaining the way and the opportunity to be top of mind that when they think of real estate, as an example, they think of me.
That's really smart. You know who has really always influenced me is the one and only Mo Anderson. So when I think of influence, I know what she's leaving as her legacy is not, I mean, I could care less how many houses she sold or how many people she got into KW, but the influence that she's left and imprinted on my life and so many of our lives is
Yeah.
really, really important. So I think talking about that and how numbers don't make us, how transactions don't make us, how really the way we affect people around us and our world is really, really important. And that's influence.
Well, an influence is also like you know what someone like her, what she stands on, what her values are, what's important to her. And when I feel like when leaders, we're leaders, everyone in a real estate transaction is a leading. We're leading a buyer and a seller, right, to a specific outcome. That's a leader in your community. And so when I'm thinking about leadership and what influence means in leadership, it's that I'm not abandoning myself, meaning my values, my standards, my goals and dreams and alignment to then be someone else. And I think we get a big disconnect. It's like pleasing the masses or understanding who you are and let the right people that you influence who know you, like you, and trust you do business with you.
Oh, that's a really good example. I mean, and I think that we can carry that on to our interaction in our market centers, to the interaction with our communities that we've built. I think we can't let the outside influence, right? Um, strip away our integrity, the way we do business, and the way we connect with people.
You're right. You're right. Like it's how you show up in life, like conversations. Do you abandon yourself? Women are the first people to abandon because we've talked about this before and we're going to talk about this deeper. We take care of everyone else or everything else before we take care of ourselves. And so like the expectation we put on ourselves. I say to people, I'm not feeling tired, I'm feeling depleted.
Oh,
So is
good.
this how do I get myself back that can help me live an abundant life by influencing the people I want to do business with? Like, it's such a big cycle of who I am, standing on my values, right? We're talking about Mo, who I wanna be, how I wanna show up the right way for people.
That's really good, Karen. You know what? I think that a lot of us sometimes lose that. And you're right. You know, we talked about it before. It's not that we want to, or it just that as women, sometimes we're a little bit more of a people pleaser. You know, we go with the flow just not to make any waves or so people think we're nicer or whatever. We've talked about that, the difference between nice and kind. So this is probably in that line, right? Our influence has to really, really come from our integrity, from the way we stand for things, and all of that stuff. I read a quote, and this reminded me uh, of you, really, and yours is a strong one. It said, when you walk into a room, either people quiet down and listen or people scatter and go. And I've always felt that you were the one, and not maybe physically, but mentally scatter somewhere else, right? And I've always felt that you, as a leader, especially with lady leaders, are the one that walks into the room and people pay attention. And I really do think that that's such quiet influence that all of us should look at someone like you and say, okay, why is her influence that way? Well, it's because your integrity stands out. the way you do business, the way you carry yourself with both men and women, and the way you treat all of us. I think that that's a, and I think that's Mo Anderson too. I think that that is a really big thing. Do people come together and settle, or do they kind of scatter?
Oh, I mean, that is heavy indeed. I mean, well, I always say, like, if you walk in the room and you don't know who the asshole is, you're the asshole.
Okay, I didn't say
But if you
that.
walk in the room and people are attracted to you, but the goal is like trust in a relationship and influencing a potential client is done long before any contract is ever signed, right? You're influencing that relationship to a specific outcome. You're influencing them to let them see what your value proposition is. But do you even know what that is? Do you know what you stand on? Do you know why someone might say, "Why would I hire you?" What are your 3 key values of why I'd hire you? I'm like, "Okay, well, my number 1 is integrity, my number 2 is fairness, right? And number 3 is what's most important to you?"
Yeah, yeah, that's a very important distinction right there, Karen. I really like that because I think you're right. When we transact with our clients, I think the way we influence, whether directly or indirectly, really is incumbent upon us to show all of this stuff that you just talked about. Integrity, values, and what's important to the client. Because ultimately, I'm not going to live in the house, right? I want to make sure that they are happy and that their values where they want to be, whether it's a 3 bedroom or a 5 bedroom house, none of that matters to me as long as we serve them correctly.
You're right, and you said something really important in there, Grace, where you understand their values. I think a big mistake on influencing anyone, and if influencing is not deceitful, it's not persuasion, right? That's very different. But you said something is we place judgment on other people often because based on our values, not theirs. So then we make them wrong, right? Why do I care if I don't like where that bedroom is? Why do I care? Like, if that's what they love, like, I'm staying out of judgment, but I'm an influence in order to get the best deal for them on the right terms.
Yes, what? That's kind of a hard lesson to learn. Not, specifically about integrity or bedrooms or something, but I heard a story one time. Here in Savannah, we have a lot of older houses. Okay, grandma looking houses, and then we've
I
got
love
these.
them, they're charming.
No, but I heard the story and I can't remember who said it. He walked into a house with this client and they had this really ugly wallpaper, old fashioned. He thought, oh my gosh, this is just awful. And he said that to them. He said, this is like really ugly wallpaper. Well, it just so happened that the lady loved the wallpaper because it reminded her of her grandmother, and she was very insulted. So he learned the lesson, right? You listen to your clients, you listen to what's important to them. You don't influence them by saying, "Oh, what ugly wallpaper." I mean, obviously, if there's mechanics and stuff wrong with the house, you're going to do that. But really, it's incumbent upon us to listen and to influence correctly, to say, maybe this or that or the other, but not like you're right, not put our personal opinions on something.
That's right, but also coaching that seller to not be offended because that's her value that she's placing on that buyer and not making right. And so think about this as an agent. When you are working to meet their values, not understand them, when you're working to meet their values and be like them, that's when you lose who you are. That's when you abandon yourself. Right? So instead of being like, everyone's going to like me, not everyone's going to like you. Influence is taking a stand and you attract the people that are looking to learn from you and you are a mentor and role model after you because you stand on. We could look at a million people that we think influence us, but we chose certain people for a reason. So the question I would ask is, why do you choose those people? What values or behaviors or characteristics do they have that you want more to be more like?
And and taking it back to something really easy, like I'm a mom, I'm a grandma, and I always look at when my kids were growing up, the people who I let surround them. The influence is big. So for me, I look at the same, like, not that we're anyone's mom or anyone's auntie in the real estate world, but I look and see exactly what I told my kids growing up, right? Birds of a feather. If you're going to surround yourself as an agent with people who maybe cut corners, who just want the next transaction, who are all the things that you are stand against. You can't do that because eventually that's what people are going to see you as,
Well,
right? And
well, think about what Tristan, the panels they had last week of that awesome day last Thursday. And the common theme in every single one of those entrepreneurs was relational.
yes, yes, yes. And we were honored to be on the panel. So, yeah, I think that that really fits in with this also. It's about relationships. And for us as women, especially, I think we influence more than we think. The way we talk, the way we conduct ourselves, all the things that, we were told probably from our grandmothers to our mothers to Mo to whoever, uh, our influence is long lasting. So I just want to make sure that, I mean, influence is not about transactions. It's not about how much money you make. It's not about anything. The quiet influence is what's important.
And so I think that's what we're going to explore so much deeper is how do you find who you want to be and what's important to you? Because I did it today. I have a group of agents in my house right now, and we went through it this morning. And so we're going to do this in our coaching program. So sign up for our newsletter because that's how you're going to learn access around it. But that's going to get really deeper because when you understand what your influence, like where your greatest strength is around it, then every decision you make moving forward is so much easier when you understand what you want your influence to be.
Yes, yes. And I think we have big decisions to make in our lives. We have big influences to make, and we have a lot to offer as, especially women in the rain circle, because we're, like you like to say, we're women of a certain age. We can really take lead in what we're doing like this. I really do believe it. It's up to us to make sure that the next, that people that are looking up to us, whether or not, we know it, are influenced by us.
That's right. Right. Someone's always watching.
Yeah. Yeah, I know. I know. So I've got one more thing, and I wrote this one down because I thought this was very important. Okay. Because we're always talking about legacy in this group. We're always talking about what we're going to leave, everything, right? So this one I thought was really, really awesome. Legacy isn't what you leave to people, it's what you leave in them. So, what an incredible quote about influence, right?
Say
It's
it
what
again.
we Okay, it is. Legacy isn't what you leave to people, so money and stuff, right? It's what you leave in them. I think that's powerful.
That's lasting.
Yes, and I think, like, I have a few mentors that I know what they've left in me, and I think that that's what we can do as leaders in this space, is make sure that what we're leaving in people is much more than what we've left out in the world as far as money, whatever. I think that we really need to look at that.
I love that. That was really powerful. What a great end. All right. So stay tuned. We will be ready for next week. And I look forward because it's going to be more on our theme and getting deeper in what that looks like, right? We talk about business basics, but what if we don't get the mindset and who we are as an individual person straight, it's going to be tough to then marry as we'll continue both of those sides. So
So next week is return on impact. So that's also going to be really amazing because we have amazing stories to tell and amazing people to highlight.
yes, I
See
can't
y'all
wait.
next week. Bye bye, everybody.